Really good question, Mr. Dell Jr. I think that for me, I would not have Cena win the title whilst being a heel, because if John does his job right, you should hate John. And whenever John's been mentioned or his name has been mentioned, he's been getting booed, right? I think Randy mentioned John's name the other day. I think was it on SmackDown? And loads of boos, right? And so I sort of feel like John, when he comes out and he starts trash talking the fans, anyone that's kind of on the fence or whatever, should hopefully start rallying behind Cody. That's what they want. You know, the reason why you turn John heel is to make, big noise, but it's also something we'd been talking about, which is face versus face in the main event of WrestleMania didn't feel right. I don't know how many times we had the conversation. We need a monster heel up in the main event of WrestleMania. Where is the monster heel? Like, we were talking about how it's such a shame Rock's not available, how it's such a shame that Brock's not available, because, you look at Cody against Cena, which a few weeks back was face versus face. You look at that triple threat of Roman against Punk against Seth, which is face versus face versus face. And I know some people will be like, oh, Roman's not really face. He's getting massive cheers, right? He's not done anything that's heelish or anything that's turning the crowd against him. He is face at the moment, right? It could be revealed that he's not learnt his lesson and all of that. But as of right now, loud OTC chants. He's done right by his family and he's a face at the moment. That we don't have that, Logan Paul, Dominic Mysterio, that sort of person that gets booed out the building. Now, I don't want either of them in the main event scene this year. I'm not campaigning for that. But the point we were making is, where is the monster heel? WWE, I think, have thought the same and gone, well, we'll give you a monster heel. How about John Cena, right? So now we find ourselves in a situation where we do have that. And that's great. It's not the person I would have chosen. I would have gone with CM Punk turning, or I would have found a way of getting like a really vicious Drew McIntyre in the mix. But I probably would have gone Punk. I wouldn't have minded Seth turning as well, because I think Seth is in need of a bit of a shake-up. I know he's got his song and people enjoy that, but to be honest with you, I think people enjoy the song. I don't know that Seth's character is the most over that it's ever been. I think Seth has been better when he was doing like Monday Night Rollins. I think Seth was better when he was the architect, actually. This visionary Seth is better than the Monday Night Messiah, but I would say that it's behind architect and it's behind kind of Monday Night Rollins, right? So for me, I would like a shake up there. And if we're not doing that just because of a song, then I think that's insane. But put that to one side. They've made their choice. They've gone with John Cena turning. So the question is now, do you pull the trigger and put the title on him? Answer to that from me is no, I would not do that, because John Cena should be protected in the sense of, I would have The Rock getting involved. I would have The Rock costing John. I would have there being a bit of tension between John and The Rock. I would have it whereby John has a go at The Rock saying, I would have got the title if you had not got involved, right? And I would really build up some tension there. And I'd have The Rock trying to calm it down. Cody can continue being champion. And John can move on to a feud. I don't mind heel John versus face Randy at Backlash in, where is it? St. Louis, that's it. So I don't mind that match. It doesn't need to be for the title. That's a massive main event. Yeah, a rematch between those two. The final time. But only this time John Cena's the heel. That's a very different spin on that match. We've seen that match so many times, but not with this dynamic. So I'd be down for that. So I think there's a way forward for John without him having the title. I think there's a way that he can sort of lose at WrestleMania, but not lose his aura, if you will. I think it could be a case that, The Rock's going to do whatever he can really to get that belt off Cody. So I would be looking at something like that. And the reason why I wouldn't pull the trigger is I don't want to see John winning 17 and being in the ring holding the belt up with everyone booing. Like, he's just broke the records for most world title wins. That's such a massive moment that's been spoken about for years. Who's going to do it? Who's going to break Ric Flair's record? Can Cena do it? When Cena announced this was going to be his last year, that's what everyone wanted, which was him to break that record. I don't think there's much of an appetite for seeing Cena do it as a heel. I don't think that's what the people want. I think the people want the record broken and they want it to be Cena, but I don't think they want it to happen whilst he's a heel. I think people want to celebrate that moment, and it feels to me like you're going to have to turn John face. He's got to turn face by the end of the year. He's got to retire as a face. Surely he doesn't retire as a heel. So if he's going to retire as a face and he's going to turn back to being a face, why don't we delay him winning the world title and make that still a big part of the year? Like, he's heel. He's trying to get 17. He still hasn't got it yet. Blah, 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 blah. So for that reason, I personally would not have John Cena winning at WrestleMania. I think it would be a big win for Cody. And I think Cody needs big wins in his title reign. I think that Cody has been let down with poor creative in his title reign so far. And this is the moment to give him a big name on his resume. He's been beating the likes of AJ Styles, who's brilliant, but, I don't think anyone really expected him to win. He's beaten the likes of Kevin Owens. Brilliant, but I don't think people really expected him to win. He's beaten the likes of Logan Paul. I don't think people expected him to win. We're now in a situation where the bookie's favorite is John Cena. People are expecting John Cena to win. This is where you give the win to Cody. This is where Cody gets a credible win on his resume, proves that he's the quarterback of this generation, gets past the legends. You can find ways of doing it so that John doesn't look too weak, have it miscommunication between him and The Rock, loads of bells and whistles, shenanigans, whatever. And then, maybe Randy comes down. Perhaps the ref's down. Perhaps it's Cena and The Rock double teaming on Cody. Rather than bring out Stone Cold, I would bring out Randy. I'd have Randy come to Cody's aid. Randy and John going at it. So then it's 2-on-2. It's Cody and Randy. It's Rock and John. That then sets up the John-Randy match for Backlash. No title needed. And that's a monster match. Two of the biggest names we've ever seen. One of the biggest rivalries we've ever had. Going at it one last time. No belt needed. That's how I would book it. But the bookie's favorite is that it's going to be John Cena leaving with that title at WrestleMania. So lots to kind of get our teeth into with that one. It was a good question. But we're going to have to wait and see. And look, it's one of those, if they do put 17 on him at WrestleMania whilst he's a heel, I won't be crying about it. There won't be tears or anything like that, right? I'm very interested to see how they book this, because I've been very, very vocal about I wouldn't have done it, right? And I still stand by that. And so it's very interesting for me to look at something that I wouldn't have done to see, okay, well, it's happening, so let's see how it plays out, and let's see kind of how they do it, and if the concerns that I have with it, whether they do come to fruition or not. And if we do go and put the title on him at WrestleMania and he wins number 17, I don't think that's a good thing. But I don't know. Let's have a look. Maybe other people do. Perhaps they do it and people love it. I mean, it'll be very interesting. Very interesting. So I can't answer if they're going to do it or not. The only thing I can tell you is that Cena is favorite according to the bookies. But, what does that mean? What does that mean? That doesn't really mean a great deal, does it? But this is where, for me, you definitely pull the trigger with Cody and give him a win against someone that he's actually going in as an underdog which I don't think he's done since winning the title last year.